aloha, talofa lava, and warm Pacific greetings. It is great to be with you all this afternoon. My name is Alexia. I'm part Greek, part Samoan. Probably my cousin in the audience. And I am so excited to be with you all this afternoon. Now, the first thing I'd like you all to do is, could we please all stand up? Okay, and you're going to stand up. You're going to look at me quietly, please. And what we're going to do to get into the mood of it all is we're going to do a little bit of afternoon yoga. Can I get a oh yeah? Nice. Okay, team, so you're going to follow me. We're going to go down. We're going to go up, and we're going to make a pineapple. Beautiful. Such good pineapples around the room. We're going to cut the pineapple in half. We're going to give one piece of pineapple to the person next to us. Here you go. Another piece of pineapple to the person on the other side. And back some pineapple for ourselves. And again, down, up, cut the pineapple. Pineapple for you. Pineapple for you. Back, pineapple to yourself. Now, team, this is a very important part. When I say go, we're going to do 3 of those routines as fast as we possibly can. We're going to turn to the person on either side of us. We're going to give them a high five. We're going to look them in the eye, and we're going to say, "You're awesome. Thank you for coming today." And then we'll sit back down. So let's start that now in 3, 2, 1, go. You're awesome. Thank you for coming today. And then sitting back down as fast as you can. Thank you, everyone. Now, when I reflect on my journey, I never would have imagined when I was in high school that I would become a founder and a CEO of my own technology startup. And this became possible not because I was the smartest person or the most popular, or because I followed the advice of Dr. Phil, but because I decided to take the uncommon path. And that decision to pursue a career in technology has taken me to places I never could have imagined. And in fact, just the other day, I was going through old files on my computer, and I found my slideshow CV I created when I was 8 years old. And I thought, you know what? I'll share that with you all today. So here it is, my homework assignment at age 8. And I quite like it because it gives a bit of insight into me as a young person and what my hobbies and passions were. And as you can see in that red circle, my hobbies at 8 years old were, I like the computer and I like making PowerPoints. Which is quite funny because I now speak to around 40,000 young people each year, and that involves making a lot of PowerPoints. So living the childhood dream. But from a young age, I was really passionate about technology, and I would spend my days in primary school in the computer lab. And I really decided from that really young age that technology was the place for me. However, as I got older, my passion for technology made me feel rather isolated, and I started to feel like the odd one out. In year 12, I was the only girl in my school's digital technology class, and later in year 13, I was the only girl in my advanced physics class. And I'll go to coding competitions and science competitions and regularly be one of 2-3 young women in the room. Also being Samoan, regularly the only Pacifica young woman in the room. And I really started to wonder, why aren't more diverse young people going into technology? I wasn't deterred by that, however, and I remember going to a technology event when I was 15 years old. And I was sitting in the hall, very much like you, and I was listening to this speaker, and this inspirational speaker came on stage, and he said, if you study hard, if you code hard, if you work hard, one day you can grow up to be like these guys. And showed this exact picture here. And I remember sitting there as a 15-year-old in the audience, looking at this picture and going, ooh, I don't know if I'll ever grow up to be like these guys. I don't even know if I want to be these guys. And these are actually the founding members of PayPal. They're now referred to in Silicon Valley as the PayPal Mafia, which just goes to show you're not uncool, you're just not rich yet. But I remember as a young person this being a really defining moment, because I thought, if these are the role models we're holding up in tech, is it any wonder that young women and diverse young people aren't stepping into technology? I wasn't deterred by that, however, and I decided I wanted to join a network for young women passionate about science and technology. But I did my Googling and I realized there was no such network out there. Now, it would have been a lot easier to join someone else's network, but spurred by the words of Emma Watson, who said, "If not me, then who? And if not now, then when?" And at 16, I started Girl Boss New Zealand. Been a pretty awesome journey since then. We're now a network of 13,500 young women across the country, and our programs are implemented in over 100 high schools. And my passion for technology has taken me to some really glamorous places. Thank you. Here I am in this photo with this very famous person. Hands up if you know who they are. Good job. If you guessed Prince Philip, you're right. Nah, just jokes. But technology has truly taken me to the most glamorous places. It's taken me to Buckingham Palace. It's taken me to Facebook, where I worked as a Facebook Leadership Fellow. And I got to go into offices like this each day, which was pretty cool. Now, one cool thing about Facebook headquarters, which is in San Francisco, is that it's inspired by Disneyland. And so what would you do is that you get, there's all these restaurants and cafes all around the campus, and every single thing is free. So you just walk in and everything's free. And my favorite store to go to was the sweet shop, where they have all these desserts, including a make-your-own sundae station all day, every day. And I would get these massive ice creams that I'd create, like this photo here, and then feel sick for the rest of the day. But it was pretty awesome. And it's not just me that's had an incredible career in technology. I share here examples of some awesome young people who have made the decision to go into tech. So these are two young leaders who are passionate about technology and wanted to get into the industry, and they've just now received a job at PwC, which is one of the most prestigious companies in the world, in their tech team. And this is their incredible office that they get to go in each and every day. Talk about a main character moment. If city life is not for you, technology can take you all around the world. With my laptop, I can work from anywhere and everywhere. I can work in one of my favorite places in Samoa, on the beaches of Samoa, and it really enables you to go anywhere you would possibly imagine. And a career in technology can also turbocharge your impact. With technology skills, you can maximize the difference that you make for yourselves, for your whānau, for your community, and this country. I'd like to share with you the story of my good friend Natalie. Throughout year 7 and 8, unfortunately, Natalie was a victim of bullying. And every day in lunchtime, she sat alone at lunch because she had no friends to sit with. Now, she was lucky in year 9, she moved to a high school in a different area and was able to get past that. But she always thought back to the fact that so many young people are going through what she went through. And she really wanted to make a difference. Now, Natalie was studying technology at school, and so she created her own app called Sit With Us, a lunchtime planning app to ensure nobody sits alone at lunchtime and to empower young people to start anti-bullying clubs at their school. And the incredible thing is, now Natalie's app has grown and she's got 100,000 monthly users. And that right there really highlights the power of technology. Now, Natalie's core passion was stopping bullying. She could have spoken at her school assembly about stopping bullying and impacted a couple hundred people. She could have spoken, she could have written for her local newspaper and impacted a couple thousand people. But because Natalie had technology skills, she's able to impact hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. The app that she's created impacts lives while she's asleep. This is the real power of technology. Regardless of what problem you want to solve, if you have tech skills, you will only ever impact more people. Finally, a career in technology is one of the most highest paid careers in New Zealand. With a career in technology, you can have access to some incredible opportunities and get paid while doing it really well. Currently, there's a shortage of people with tech skills to do the jobs available. And that means a lot of cha-ching in your bank account. The average tech salary in New Zealand is $100,000. I want you to turn to the person next to you, I want you to look them in the eye, and I want you to say, 6 figures, baby. Now, this is in New Zealand, but the great thing about technology is that it can take you anywhere. You could work in Sydney. You could work in Paris, in the city of love. Perhaps New York, the city that never sleeps, is the place for you. Or, what about San Francisco? With a salary like this, you have choices. You have the choice to buy your own home. You have the choice to support your whānau. You have the choice to give to charity and make a difference that you want to make. It is pretty awesome. So here's to recap. You should have a career in tech because it's glamorous, it's global, and you can make a really big difference. And my decision to follow a pathway in tech has taken me to the most incredible places. Places like NASA, where I got to work with the NASA Sophia team and go on a mission. I got to go to New York and work with the United Nations and speak at the UN. I also got to meet this guy, Jamie Oliver. Now, I'm a real foodie, so this was an awesome highlight. Hands up if you know who Jamie Oliver is. All of us, good to see. Now, Jamie Oliver is a celebrity chef and an owner of a $500 million cooking empire. And he also likes to mentor young leaders when they go to London. So I was lucky to be mentored by Jamie Oliver. Now, Jamie gave me one piece of advice that was so inspiring that inspires me every day, and I'd like to share that with you now. So Jamie shared with me the story of when he started his very first restaurant at age 25. And when he started his very first restaurant, he made the decision to only employ people from the following backgrounds: people who had just left prison, people with drug and alcohol problems, or people who were homeless. Now, when he shared that mission with the people around him, they thought he was absolutely nuts. His own father didn't speak to him for a year, as he thought Jamie was throwing away his life to give a hand up to others. But Jamie's decision to do something different propelled him and his restaurant into global fame. The restaurant was a massive success, and it was the single most decision that completely changed Jamie's life forever. And he shared that story with me, and then he said, never be afraid to be the most hopeful person in the room. When you walk into a boardroom, when you walk into a meeting, who is the person that holds the most power? The one with the most hope. Be the one with hope. Be the one with vision. Be the one with optimism. Something that inspires me each and every day. And when I reflect on my journey, one thing is clear. I wasn't the smartest person at my school. I wasn't the most popular. I wasn't selected for any leadership roles, head girl, prefect, anything like that. But what I did do was that I was never afraid to take the uncommon path. I was never afraid to be the only girl in my tech class. I wasn't afraid to go along to coding competitions in the weekend, even though none of my friends were. And that decision to do something different changed my life forever. And the question I have for you is, what uncommon choices can you make? How can you be different? Because the reality is, if you want opportunities that not many people get, you need to make choices that not many people make. Choices to be the most hopeful person in the room. Choices to actually stand apart and do something different. So I'd like to give a big thank you to you all. It's been a real privilege to talk to you all, and I look forward to seeing the difference you'll make. Thank you.